Thank you everyone for inviting me over as a speaker to talk on IDAC Intelligence Series 2020. So I took the opportunity to actually use my topic as an intelligent building, which would eventually then talk about the blueprint for a sustainable design. What's the decade, what's the next architecture that we are doing. So I'm sorry, but the title is that. Okay. Okay, so what is an intelligent building? I started to question or answer this with six key catalysts, which kind of contribute to what kind of leads to an intelligent building. So first of all, being energy efficiency. Second of all, being the occupant comfort. Then the smart grid compatibility. Then comes the digitization aspect of it to kind of contribute it to be an intelligent building, which is automation, remote management, and data analytics. So how does data analytics, eventually once we have the building which is sustainable, and then we have the data ready for it, we kind of input that into the softwares that we have it today, we digitize it, and kind of alter it to the growing needs. And that's how all of these key factors start contributing for the architecture of today to be intelligent. So energy efficiency, I'll quickly just touch base on these topics. How do we become energy efficient? It's through passive design strategies, the architecture of India, which has been dating back about 4,000 years old. Then it's the advanced systems that we are using for optimal energy consumption. Occupant comfort, it's very important for the person who's staying or using that particular building. So it's very important for them to have that comfort, hence enhancing their living environment through design, which is adaptive to the regional climate, like a building designed in, let's say, Pune, cannot be the same for a building which is designed in Ahmedabad or in Surat, for that matter. So it has to be very contextual. Smart grid compatibility, adding back to the grid for energy optimization, resilience, automation. So how do these feature systems that we all talk about today, and how do that get integrated into our design, and then eventually, how do we ask for those designs or ask for those systems to get integrated within the design? Remote management, it's offsite control and monitoring through cloud-enabled softwares. Today, if I've designed my building, if I'm not able to measure it, if I'm not able to understand or monitor it from afar, then what are we doing? Data analytics and future ready. All of these 5 factors combined together lead us to a sheet, which is basically the data that we try and get for these buildings, and eventually we make the building kind of future ready. So that's the architecture for the next decade. I would like to explain all of this through one of our recently completed buildings, which is the Surat Diamond Bourse, the world's largest office building. The unique challenges that we actually faced here, and why am I talking about that? Because these are the key factors of sustainability that go into the design. The cost, the scale. So this whole site is about 35 acres. We were about to house about 60,000 people that had to get fit into that one building, along with, and the major challenge that we face with this is how do 60,000 people reach their offices? So what's the time optimization that we can do? So it's all basically data driven. Functionality to have 4,500 office spaces, which could either today or tomorrow get combined or be used as individual offices. So basically, it could get altered to the future needs of the market. Adaptability, designed to function for the business in the future. So once we go on to the next slides, we'll understand a lot more about it. So affordability, this is a metric-driven design. That's exactly what I was talking about in my first slide as well, that how certain parameters affect the building design. For example, traffic and security, the travel time to the building. As we can see, a general understanding or a general parameter is 45 minutes. However, in this design, we were able to get it down to about 10 minutes. So a person from the site entrance till the time he reaches his office will take about only under 10 minutes. I mean, it's quite less than even a stadium. The waiting time for a person because of high-speed lifts is under 30 seconds. Daylighting, the general parameter is about 50%. We have designed, because of the building orientation being true north-south, we were able to achieve about 75% daylighting, HVAC efficiency. So about 35% of this building was designed to natural ventilation because it has this one connected spine that we saw in the center, which is completely naturally ventilated, thereby even reducing the total capital expenditure and even the operating expenditure. HVAC efficiency, hence we were able to reduce it to 55 meter per, this is on the air-conditioned areas. If I assume it to be the entire built-up, we will be somewhere hitting about 75 square meters per TR, per ton. Indoor thermal comfort, 30% being passively conditioned. Microclimate. So microclimate essentially, again, is the first aspect I was talking about of design, using passive design strategies, that only by using these strategies we can allow for our buildings to be perceived at a lower temperature. So when a person is walking or staying, or right now as well, by using those strategies we can actually reduce the perceptible temperatures by approximately a 5 to a 7%, thereby eventually reducing the overall load on the HVAC, which actually contributes to a lot of the capital expenditure of a building. That's the entire master plan, and what we can see here in the center is the green lungs. So we created these atriums out here, which allowed for that venturi effect, ground roots physics from school, which allows for this hot air to come in and then allow for all of that to go up with green periphery around those lungs, which are like that. And because all of that was naturally ventilated, we kind of used the traditional architecture concepts from Gujarat of having these jalis to allow for that air to come in, and which then comes in and gets released from the sky atriums on the top. By creating that microclimate within the building itself. So by doing that, we were able to achieve about 7 to 8% degree reduction on the overall. The outside temperatures in Surat on the courtyards is somewhere around a 38. However, if you would walk there and if you would ever take a walk down that spine, you would assume it, or you would actually feel a perceptible temperature of somewhere around a 28 degrees. That's how the entire green lungs kind of look like, from the top to bottom. So that entire spine that I was talking about is being naturally ventilated. It is also using radiant cooling, which further allows us to reduce the temperature inside. So that is a complete installation of radiant cooling of about 20 kilometers. That's how the whole spine was at. That's the natural ventilation pops that we see around on the periphery. The green lungs of the entire building. So the entire spine, the length is about 500 meters. Time optimization. So this is what I was talking about when we were talking about those metrics, is the fact that the whole site was then eventually subdivided into multiple entries and exits, and not just for vehicular, for also pedestrians. So that each of those guys, from the entry point to the bollards, to the ground floor lobby, to the transfer lift, to their office, all of that path along with their vertical transportation would take just under 10 minutes. A pedestrian would actually take less time. Some of the project images that we were able to put that out here. That's the Diamond Club, that's the main entrance lobby. So the reason why we're showing all of that is that even in today, we can achieve a sustainable design and yet have our traditional root architecture inbuilt today. The next slide is not popping. Okay, so I guess the next slide is not coming up, but I'll end this presentation by answering the first question that I laid out to everyone. What is an intelligent building? So an intelligent building is something that you can alter to the next decade, alter for the next decade, and design it like that. Metrics is the new design. Thank you, everyone.